A very good morning to you all, dear Toastmasters and guests. I'm sure all of you have raisins with you. Please hold them in hand. All of you kindly close your eyes. Kindly touch the raisin. Feel, experience the texture of it. Now slowly put it into your mouth. Start chewing. Have you ever thought that it reduces the risk of heart disease, blood pressure, blood sugar? The fiber in such a tiny raisin works to lower your LDL or bad cholesterol. The potassium present in it contributes to the reduction of blood pressure, stroke, and all types of diseases. It supports our bone structure. If such a tiny raisin can do all this, what about so many insignificant, tiny things around us that are created by God and gifted to us, which we completely ignore? So today is the day to feel, experience those small things. It could be air that we breathe. It could be the soil that we stamp on, the dust particles that are there around us, the flora, the fauna. Every little thing is important. And all this contributes to mindfulness. How is it possible? Our TM Modi is going to explain more on it. Before that, let's all keep our videos on, mute ourselves and on our audio only when it is necessary. Let us avoid the talk on sex, politics, religion, and other things which are not necessary to be spoken here. And let us begin this beautiful day with our president going to instruct some important things to us. Over to you, the president of the club, Toastmasters Vinita.
Thank you, Seema, for that wonderful beginning to a wonderful day. Good morning, Toastmasters. One thing you would never guess about me is that when I have to make a decision, very often I become overwhelmed by the paralysis of analysis. I worry, I think, I theorize, I torture myself, and I imagine the worst case scenario. But with time and experience, I have come to realize that when the mind is weak, a situation becomes a problem. When the mind is balanced, the situation becomes a challenge. And when the mind is strong, the situation becomes an opportunity. I'm sure today's meeting with the theme Mind Matters is going to be an eye-opener for all of us. But before that, let us begin with a prayer by Toastmaster Fiona Pinto. Fiona, over to you.
Keeping in line with the theme for today, I have prepared a meditation to get us started. So I prepared a piece of music for 2 minutes. The thing about this particular piece of music is that there is a peculiar sound somewhere in between the 2-minute audio. So I request you all to sit back in a comfortable position and listen to the sound and also and listen to that particular sound. Second. Okay, thank you. Back to Sunita ma'am. Did anyone try to listen to the peculiar sound in between the audio? Well, actually, there was no peculiar sound. I lied because I wanted you all to listen carefully. Oftentimes, when we're meditating, our thoughts take us elsewhere. So if you're in the moment trying to listen to the sound only, the meditation becomes more effective. Hope these 1.5 to 2 minutes were effective for you, and good luck starting the meeting. Thank you. Back to Tia Modi.
Thank you, Pierre. Right. So before we go on, let's listen if we have any felicitations from the guests. Would any, not from the guests, I'm sorry, from the members. Would anyone like to share a felicitation to begin the day? Yes, Dr. Valal, please go ahead. You need to unmute.
Like you've already put it up in the Facebook, we had a joint meeting between Shimoga Toastmasters and another club from Bangalore, and I was invited as for the Toastmasters meeting as an educational session, to give an educational session on how to select a speech topic. It was a 30-minute session followed by about 5 to 7 minutes of a question and answer session. So I enjoyed preparing for it, and I hope they liked it too. Thank you very much.
Thank you. A reminder to all members that no matter whatever you do outside the club, please inform us. We are very happy to publicize it and acknowledge it. Any other members would like to share a felicitation? Yes, yeah, Benjita. Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I had put it up last month in the club. So I had started the creative writing course for kids. So I'm very happy to say that it's going well. I have 6 kids in the first batch and they are very interested. It's very nice to be again working with them because I used to, and then lockdown happened. And it's very nice to see them come up. We have different sessions. Last week was on rewriting stories. So they rewrote Cinderella and Snow White. The best part was in all stories it is taken that all princesses now know to do combat. So it was very nice writing new stories.
Yeah.
So it is going well, and I have also put up the next batch, and I just wanted to share with everyone about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Benjita. Now you know that even you belong to the next generation. That now that the princess can do combat. Anyone else would like to share?
Yeah, I have one.
Yeah, Chandru, go ahead, Chandru, and then Kavita. Go ahead.
Yeah, last week, Mangalore Smart City Limited has conducted 75th years of independence, that is Azadi Ki Amrit Mahotsav in Mangala Stadium, and they have called us to sing patriotic song. I sang Ye Mere Watan Ki Logo, and it was well received. And my clippings was included in their 2 minutes video also. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Thank you.
Yeah, Kavita, go ahead. Yes, people, please use the emoticons and show some love to all our members. Yes, Kavita, go ahead.
Good morning, all. It was a proud moment for me to go outside the club and speak. Recently at Bantwal Toastmasters, I was invited there for a talk on what is Toastmasters. And I've joined Toastmasters since 2016 and had a short break in between. But, you know, all my experience, my personal experiences I shared with them. And it was a challenge for me to go outside the club, new faces, new members, but it was totally a beautiful experience, I would say. And I would also wish all of you would take this opportunity and go outside the club and speak, because we always are scared, you know, we get panicked to think about to go outside the club, but actually it is a beautiful experience. So you also enjoy it and try it sometime. And that's from me. Thank you.
Yeah, great, Kavita, great. Anyone else would like to share? Any others? Okay, all right, let's go ahead and meet some of our guests. We have Karthik, who is a colleague of Toastmaster Gladys. Karthik, would you like to switch on your video and just introduce yourself in 2 lines? All right, and we have Olivia also. Olivia, would you like to introduce yourself? Please, members, just help me if I'm missing anyone else. Olivia? Yeah, hi, Olivia. Welcome to Mangalore Toastmasters. You can just, you're muted. Just unmute and just introduce yourself in 2 lines.
Hi, I'm Olivia and I've been introduced by Benjita.
Okay,
I-
that's great.
The Anirveda.
Okay.
It's a resource center for psychological well-being, and I'm really glad to be here with you.
Okay, thank you and welcome. I hope you'll stay for the whole meeting. Welcome.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else I'm missing on the other screen? Oh, we have Srivatsa from Sayadri. Good morning, Srivatsa. Would you like to, thank you for joining us. Would you like to unmute and say hello to everyone? Srivatsa? Okay, Srivatsa is the president of Sayadri Club, a club that we're working with. So maybe we will talk to him later. Am I missing anyone else? Mr. Karthik?
Yeah, ma'am. One more is there. She's from Bangalore Club, Navami Kini.
Yes, I saw the
Navami,
picture.
yeah.
Yes, Navami Kini. Good morning. Would you like to introduce yourself, Navami?
Hey, Sunita.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm Navami, and I'm actually from Udupi, and I studied in Mangalore. So by heart, I'm a Mangalorean, but I've been in Bangalore for past 4 years, and I am part of two clubs. One is corporate club called We Talk. This is run in VMware. And another unique club of Bangalore, which is a bilingual club, which we run the meetings in Kannada and English. So both communication skill is important in your mother tongue too. So that's why we run another, like some meetings are in Kannada, some meetings are English. So it's a great experience. So Praveen is going to give a speech today in our club.
Oh, great, great.
And he invited me today morning telling like this Mangalore Club meeting, and it's my hometown. I can never miss it. So that's how I'm here. Thank you so much.
Great. I'm glad that you're here with us. Yeah, we have a bilingual club in Mangalore also. Bilingual or trilingual, I think.
Trilingual, ma'am. Trilingual.
Yes, trilingual. Okay, fine. Great to have
if
you here.
Tulu is there, I am sure I'm going to join that too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
the
think
president
we're
is
speaking to-
right away there.
There's a bilingual
PK.
also. Konkani
There's a
club is
bilingual.
bilingual.
Yeah. Konkani club
My
is
mother
bilingual.
tongue is Konkani. I can join
Wonderful.
that too.
So you're
Oh,
going to
definitely.
you will be
Yeah.
part of Mangalore clubs.
Give us your contact.
Thank you. Thank you,
Okay,
Anita.
welcome,
I will
welcome.
advance. Yeah.
Mr. Karthik, are you there? We would like to meet you.
Hi.
Hi, good morning.
I
Can
was
you switch on your
invited by. No, that would not be fine.
Okay, fine. Go ahead. Just introduce yourself.
Okay. I was invited by Gladys to hear her talk. She's giving a presentation on
Yes.
mental well-being, I think.
Yeah.
So that is why I'm here.
All right. I'm glad you could join. Welcome.
Thank you.
Right. So I think we will go ahead with the regular meeting right now. Let me introduce to you the Toastmaster of the day. When I first met her at MTM several years ago, what struck me was her soft-spoken ways and her self-assurance. Since then, marriage and motherhood may have changed her priorities, but her essence remains unchanged. Toastmaster Della D'Souza is still a calm and confident young woman, and now additionally a qualified psychologist. I can think of no one more suited to deal with the theme of today, Mind Matters. Toastmasters, please welcome the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Della D'Souza. Over to you, Della.
Thank you, President Sunita. We started our morning not with raisins, but about learning to observe the world around us in a novel way and acquiring a beginner's mind. A way of looking at the world in its present self. Through a small meditative exercise, we were aware of our senses. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and soon to be Toastmasters. So you must have guessed what mindfulness is all about. A state of being aware of our senses, acknowledging and accepting the feelings, thoughts, and sensation of people, things around us. This simple step will enhance our mental health and is a highly recommended act of self-treatment to reduce any feeling that causes disruption in our life. Our fast-paced, technology-driven world makes it difficult to implement the elements on mindfulness in our daily lives. Recently, we had Toastmaster Praveen's team meeting, a day without mobile, and it was an amazing way to cultivate mindfulness. Toastmaster Sukanya dwelt on how to be an imperfectionist and made us realize the need to accept ourselves just the way we are and to act on one thing at a time and to execute it well. We Toastmasters are the privileged ones. This early morning, meeting and bonding with fellow members, feeling loved and appreciated is certainly a dynamic way of rejuvenating ourselves for the entire weekend. Today's meeting will proceed through 5 stages. First, we have 3 spirited speakers with their speeches, which will be followed by the evaluation. And then we will have the webinar followed by a trivia session on listening. And as the concluding part, we have the general evaluator's report. We have a dynamic person amidst us who believes that being physically fit is also being mentally fit. He is here to keep us on our track, and I hope I'm not overshooting the time. Over to you, Toastmaster Praveen.
Thank you, Toastmaster Della. Today I am playing the timer role. So as per the time schedule, I am going to show the green card, the yellow card, and the red card. So I will give my report at the end of the meeting when the general evaluator calls for me. Thank you. Back to you, Della.
Thank you, Toastmaster Praveen. October 10th is observed as World Mental Health Day. And this year, the World Federation for Mental Health, Dr. Ingrid Daniels, has declared the theme as Mental Health in an Unequal World. Unequal, where not everyone has the liberty to openly speak about their mental health. With the theme being focused on our mind, we have an eminent person who would like to test our listening skills at the end of the meeting. Toastmaster Kavita, kindly share with everyone what trivia is all about.
Thank you, Toastmaster Della. Good morning again. We listen to obtain information. We listen to understand. We listen for enjoying. And we also listen to learn. By becoming a better listener, you can improve your productivity as well as your ability to influence, persuade, and negotiate. An active listener is the one when you make that conscious effort to hear, understand, so that you can get a complete message. Today, I am working on my level 3 electives. It is under persuasive speaking. And also I'm dealing with active listening. This particular elective is in 8 pathways under pathway, which is common. So for a better list, actually the motto of Toastmasters was for better listening, thinking, and speaking. But currently you all must be knowing the motto is where leaders are made, right? So listening was the first part in the motto before. As you all know, our founder, Dr. Ralph C. Smedley, rightly said, real communication is impossible without listening. The best leaders tend to be great listeners. So today, I am here to listen to each role taker, and I'll get back to you at the later half of the meeting. I will get to and ask you a few questions and get to know who is very active in listening to. And then might be, as Anita ma'am mentioned, there will be some surprise prizes for you coming up, not through online, but I'll personally come and give it to you. So good luck on active listening. Thank you. Over to you, Della.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kavita. An ingenious personality, believes doodling, scrolling through memes, and having an energetic social life is what keeps her mentally fit. That's none other than Toastmaster Princita. I request Toastmaster Sulata to read out Toastmaster Princita's speech objectives.
Good morning, Toastmasters. Toastmaster Princita will be delivering her second speech of level 2 that is effective body language, in the path of presentation mastery. The purpose of this project is for the member to deliver a speech with awareness of intentional and unintentional body language, as well as to learn, practice, and refine how she uses non-verbal communication while delivering a speech. Timer, please note, the duration of this speech is 5 to 7 minutes. All the best, Princita. Over to you, Toastmaster Della.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sulata. Toastmaster Princita, it's an unequal world. It's an unequal world, Toastmaster Princita.
The year is 2016. I had just passed my entrance exam for college, and just a couple of days before my interview in Bangalore, I managed to sprain my ankle and stretch a ligament. Being really keen on appearing for the interview, however, I only rested my ankle for very little time before starting to walk again. So, a couple of weeks later, when I got my college acceptance mail, my leg still hadn't completely healed. On consulting a doctor, I was given a brace to support my leg. Now, this brace was quite noticeable, and here I was, worried that I would be known at college as the girl with the bandage. Little did I know, however, that in another year, I'd be known as the girl with 2 bandaged legs. Good morning, Toastmasters. This is the story of how I spent a week in a wheelchair. It happened in my second year of undergrad. I decided to bunk my first class that morning, and what happened next was almost as though the universe decided to punish me for it. I was lying on my bed, finishing the last few pages of a book I'd been reading. When I was done, I got up looking for a pen to make a note with. My legs, however, had fallen asleep or had gone numb during the time I spent on the bed, possibly due to my terrible posture. There are many things I think I could have changed when I think back to that day. The first, obviously, being not missing class. But even more important than the first is this: why would I decide to try and walk anyway when my legs clearly weren't cooperating? What was the pen so urgently required for? I have no answers. I can tell you what happened next, however. I fell badly. It hurt a lot. Heard some popping noises from my ankles. And I just lay there on the floor for a while, stunned by the ridiculousness of it all, as though by acknowledging it, I could somehow undo what happened. But no, I was still on the floor after my few seconds of disbelief. And after this, chaos followed. After lots of crying and desperately reaching for my phone, I was able to call my friends for help. They got me a wheelchair, took me to the hospital, where the doctor told me it was thankfully just sprains. He taped up both my legs in crepe bandage, and I was good to go. Back on campus, as my friends wheeled me back in, the entire cafeteria watched. And you could tell they were all wondering the same thing. Both legs? And to everyone that actually came up to me and asked, I had to confirm, yes, both legs. Yeah, I fell. Yeah, it's a lame story. I was sitting on the bed, I got up and I just fell. It was both fun and extremely embarrassing. However, it was both fun and extremely embarrassing. After all the initial novelty, however, life had to go on. And here I was, having to rely on my friends for the most simple things. They did have their fair share of fun, threatening to leave me in random places, rushing down slopes and so on. But they were also there every time I actually needed them. But even with their help, I realized the number of things one takes for granted in life. Right from trying to reach the sink for brushing my teeth in the morning, or having to depend on others to get me my food, needing help to go to the washroom, everything was a struggle. And it didn't help at all how unwelcome most public structures are to people with disabilities. I noticed how there were barely any ramps in college. The lift was too small to fit a wheelchair, and almost all facilities were centered around physically able people with barely any consideration for others. And these were just problems with accessibility that people with handicaps face. There are far more issues when it comes to healthcare, education, employment, and discrimination even. What I faced that one week wouldn't even compare. I mean, I even got to miss a couple of tests because of it. And throughout it all, I also knew that I would be okay so and would go back to my regular life. However, the need for permanent change would and still does remain. So as we speak about mental health in an unequal world today, let us try and educate ourselves about all kinds of inequalities people face and the need for inclusion. Thank you. Over to the TMO.
Thank you, Toastmaster Princita. Being completely involved or fascinated with the things around us keeps us grounded to our roots. And this is the mantra that Toastmaster Shobha believes in. She completely immerses herself in music and nature and anything that has a wave of positive energy. I request Toastmaster Shraddha to read out Toastmaster Shobha's speech objectives.
Good morning, everyone. Toastmaster Shobha is starting her second path, that is motivational level. Path 1, she is giving her icebreaker speech. And the purpose of this project is to introduce yourself to the club and then learn the basic structure of a public speech. All the best, Shobha. Over to you, TM Modi.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shraddha. Toastmaster Shobha, motivational story. Motivational story, Toastmaster Shobha.
My mother, dark, prolific earth mother, as dark as the earth, who's just fertile, who just gives. My mother, who moaned, who groaned, but she never showed on her face what a woman she is. A mother, only a mother can do that, who smiles for every task she does. She carried the basket of fruits. She carried the basket of flowers happily, never showed how many scars she had on her body, never showed how many pains she had on her. Just lived the life to please her husband. She thought that one day her husband might be happy and would give her a gift, maybe a bracelet or something else. And that is what a life usually the Indian women live. A very good morning to all of you, my dear Toastmasters, fellow Toastmaster, and the guests who are here. My speech is an icebreaker speech wherein I thought that I would just give a simple speech about a motivational story or a story about a mother and a son. So the story goes like this. Once upon a time, there was a mother and a son. And this son was very small, just 2 months old. And when he was small, his father died. But the son was very smart, and both the mother and the son, they lived happily with each other, without realizing the outer world, without caring for the people around. The child and the mother were living happily in a far-off place. As the child grew, he realized that his mother's face is not so good. She is ugly. And this made him realize that not only he, all the people around the village or around that area, they started making fun of her, and they started calling her as an ugly woman. The child also, as he grew, he joined the people around him and started making fun of his mother himself. And he said that you are an ugly duckling. At the same time, he realized that his mother doesn't have an eye too, and that makes her more ugly. So all the people, when they were making fun of her, he too joined with them and started making fun of her. He grew. Now the time for him to join the school. When he joined the school, he ordered her, "Mother, you will not come to my school. Since everybody is making fun of you, I don't want you to enter your step to my school, because I will feel ashamed of you to come to our school, and the people will make fun of me that you are my mother, who is an ugly duckling." Mother felt very sad. She did not speak a single word. She kept quiet. And she obeyed as the son did. And the son was also very deterred. As he was growing, he was becoming, and he started making more and more fun of her mother and started narrating stories about her face and joining the people around the village. And that is how the time went on. Now the son has become a big boy. He's a grown-up person now. And the time has come for him to get married. That is the big day of his life. Now there's an entry of one more person in their house, that is his wife. The wife and the son, when they entered the house, and when wife also saw the son's mother, she also said, "Your mother's face is not so good. How ugly she looks. And see how people are making fun of her. I feel ashamed to call her as my mother-in-law. I cannot stay with her. I cannot see her face. And look at her face. Not even one eye she has." Son kept quiet, but mother didn't have any choice. Again, she thought that her life would be better as the time goes by, and maybe his wife would take care of him, but the opposite thing has happened. Now, every day, this wife started forcing her son that I cannot stay with this woman anymore. Look at her face. I cannot be with her. I cannot stand at her. You have to expel her from the house. And only when you expel her, I'll eat my food at home. Son, anyhow, was making fun of his mother, and his wife also joined, and now both of them had made the battle of his mother more difficult. So son didn't have any choice. So what he did, nothing else, he listened to his wife. Anyhow, he was making fun of her before. And as the wife said, he gave the ultimatum to his mother. He said, "Mother, you must leave the house. You cannot stay with us." Mother, anyhow, she was mourning and groaning for whatever that was happening in her house. Husband not there to support her, so she didn't have any other choice. So with hard heart, she left the house, and she wished good luck to both the daughter-in-law as well as the son. And she thought that anyhow, she doesn't have a life in this house, so she decided to leave. She went to a far off place and she stayed there, started living her life, and started praying that someday might be a better day for her, and started working hard somewhere else. Time went on, and a day came when there was a birthday of her son. Now the mother can't control her motherly instinct. She thought she had to meet her son. But then she was also remembering that how her son and all the people are making fun of her for her ugly face. But she couldn't control. She thought, this time I must meet him. So she gathered all the strength. Though she was feeling very weak, the people who made fun of her had made her weak, not only from outer side, but also mentally. As the mind matters, we know
the meeting which we are attending today, her mind was really weak. But then she thought that she must meet her son. So she, with a lot of determination, with a lot of strength and courage, decided to meet him. She took the letter in her hand and a bouquet of flowers. And that was the only thing she thought she can take because she was very poor and she didn't have enough money to buy anything for him. So, with lots of courage, she went and rang the doorbell of her son's house. When the son saw her, he said, "Why did you come again? Today is my special day, my birthday. And today you have come here to wish me or to see me. You have again spoiled my day. By seeing your ugly face, my entire day would be as worst as anything I could ever imagine for." So mother said that, "Son, today I have come just to wish you because today is your birthday. I thought that I must wish you because this is the day when you were born. And this is the only gift that I can give you." So she gave the bouquet of flowers to him. At the same time, she also gave a letter to him. He said, "Right now you leave the house. You cannot stay here." Mother, she left the house. Now, son thought, okay, let me see as to what she has given to me, what she wants to say. So when he opened the letter, he saw what is written in that, and he was quite shocked to see that. It was written that, "My dear son, when you were very small, you fell down from the bed. And when you fell down from the bed, you had lost actually one of your eye. So immediately I rushed you to the hospital and I took you to the hospital so that I can save you. In the hospital, the doctor said that your one eye would be a waste and you cannot see this entire world throughout your life. So I did not have any other option. Without wasting my time, I decided to donate one of my eye to you. And on that day, I had become blind and you could see this entire world." So when the son saw that, he was feeling guilty of what he has done, how much he has insulted his mother, how much he has made fun of her, and all because of him, he has done all that to her. And he realized what all mistake he has done, but it was too late by the time. So, my dear friends, I just want to say that sometimes in life, by seeing this motivational story, I was thinking that how a life takes a turn on the people without realizing that what son has done, without realizing that what mistake he has done, how much he has made fun of her, he has joined with the people, he had mocked at her and never realized what mother is. So at last, what was written in the letter that, "My dear son, a mother can be ugly. A mother can be ugly, but a mother cannot be bad." So when I read that story, I just felt that how much motivation we can get, that what role a mother plays in everybody's life. Every mother can be ugly, but she cannot be bad, because when the title mother is given to a woman, as I said, she is a woman who works hard for the family, a woman who takes all the scars on her to make the people happy, a woman who has moaned and groaned but never showed, a woman who may live her life in a tattered saris, who will never demand that I want to have this, I want to have that, but she can live a simple life only for the sake of her children. Thank you, everybody. Over to the PM Modi.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shobha. I request the speakers and the evaluators to kindly pin the timer, Toastmaster Praveen. Being an inspiration for the youth and elderly may not be as easy as it seems, but Toastmaster Ashwin takes it in his stride and believes in mindfulness meditation, being spiritual as way of being mentally fit. I request Toastmaster Sapna to read out his speech objectives.
Good morning, Toastmasters. Toastmaster Ashwin is in level 1 motivational strategies. Purpose of the speech is to deliver a speech on any topic. Time would be 5 to 7 minutes. Title is Share and Care. All the best, Toastmaster Ashwin. Over to Toastmaster Della.
Okay, thank you.
Toastmaster Ashwin, share and care. Share and care, Toastmaster Ashwin.
Share, 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 dare to share. Share, 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 love to care. Share and care, that's why we are here. Dear young and dynamic Toastmasters, here I am in front of you to share my joy of sharing and caring. Share and care. Sharing is the use of resource or space jointly. In other words, it is helping others to become joyful and helping others to be grateful. We have always been taught that sharing is caring. When you share, you become selfless and help others joyful. Yes, it is true. Indeed, I have experienced this joy by sharing with others. I was not sharing much. Rather, I used to take many things, and that was not giving me happiness. But when I started to share, my life changed, my ministry changed, my thoughts changed, and my happiness changed. During the second wave of lockdown, all were inside, and authorities were repeatedly telling us to not to come out and not to become a cause to spread the corona. And in other side, we were listening the words, please help us. We have not eaten for many days and we have not taken anything for many days. And I was in dilemma. What to do? Whether to listen to our authorities or listen to the voice of his poor. We, along with the youth, we decided that we will do something, we will share something with these people. And by God's grace, we started the mission Share and Care. We had many questions in our mind, how to go about, what about funds, who will help us, and what about the spread of diseases, and what to do, how to go about. All these questions were in our mind. And in spite of that, I was not well. I was suggested not to go out and I was under medication. In this confusion, I had to take decision that yes, I had to go to the streets with the youth to help those who are in need. And we started our journey, mission, share and care from day one. We're taking few packets of food to the streets, corners of the streets, and we moved here and there, and we met people, and we tried to give them food packets. And I could experience the joy on their face. And just they were waiting for a vehicle to get some food, and they were waiting for us to give something. I realized the value of share in that situation. It is giving that we receive, we experience these things practically in share and care. People started to share their goodwill with us, and we started to share our goodwill with others. People started to come forward to donate some food packets, some grocery kits, and many things. And we started to share our time. We started to share our goodwill. We started to share our helping nature. We started to share our love towards others. And God started to share us abundantly in blessings. We received abundant blessings. During that time, especially the corona was at peak, and we were meeting people, those who are at quarantine, and especially we were meeting them very closely and we were helping them out. But God protected all of us from this disease, and we could do this mission for 50 days. Sharing is a joyful experience. To share, we need not have big a job, or need not have a lot of money. We did not have big bungalow or big car, but we need to have a big heart. When we have that heart to share, that means we are loving others. For that purpose, God has created us in this world, that we need to share. It is the best way we can be happy. Many people are not happy. Why? Because they don't share. They just keep the stock, and that stock will be spoiled. But when you share, that helps others, helps hundreds of people, and helps many people to get experience of love and joy. As human beings, we are created to share the earth and its resources, not only among ourselves, but with birds, with human beings, with animals. So when we share, or look at this world or anywhere, so whatever, maybe you share small thing, it may be a small packet of food or small pencil or pen or something small help you are sharing, and by that you are gaining experience. And let me tell you through our demonstration. So we think when we share, our life is our pocket gets empty, or our life is empty, everything seems like empty. But in reality, when we share, we make some other happy, and we fill them and they become happy. Not only that, when we share more and more, our life becomes colorful, life becomes joyful, and that is why we are here. So don't worry, don't think that when we share, all things will get empty and we don't get that. Don't worry. But when we are here, when we share with others, God shares with us His bountiful blessings. So thank you very much. Let's dare to share. Let's help each other, and let's love to care. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ashwin. Studies have claimed that when you indulge in learning something new and challenging yourself, you are able to radiate and be younger than what you look like. This is a reflection of Toastmaster Gladys. Did you know that 10% of our members may be suffering from mental illness? So pay close attention to Toastmaster Gladys's webinar as she takes us through what mental illness is all about. Toastmaster Gladys, mental illness, just another disease. Just another disease, Toastmaster Gladys.
Yes, while Gladys gets ready, we could do that. Praveen, can you give your report, please? And we could just put the form for voting.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Toastmaster Princita consumed 6 minutes, 34 seconds. Toastmaster Shobha consumed more than 10 minutes. And Toastmaster Father Ashwin has taken 6 minutes, 5 seconds. So Shobha is not eligible. Princita and Toastmaster Ashwin are eligible. Back to you, President.
Yeah, I'm good to go. And before I start, I would just like to say that as I'm doing the webinar, I would like to people to, because there is going to be a question answer session at the end. I would like you to type in your questions in the chat box as the webinar session is going on, so that we do not waste time. Okay, Fiona? The brain is an organ. Mental illness are illnesses of that organ. Brain scans show that there is a physical difference between a healthy brain and a sick brain. Telling someone you're not really sick, it's all in your head, It's like telling someone with asthma it's not real, it's all in your lungs. The brain is an organ that can malfunction as much as any other organ. This was a Facebook post from my friend, Dr. Diksha, which really touched me. I am no expert on mental illness, but I have experienced it firsthand, and this is an attempt of mine to bring about mental awareness. Bring about awareness about mental health. Now, definition on mental health. Mental health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or physical or mental weakness. It is a state of well-being in which the individual realizes his or her own abilities, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to his or her own community. Now, diagnosing mental illness isn't like diagnosing other chronic diseases. Heart disease is identified with the help of blood tests and ECGs. Diabetes is diagnosed by measuring blood glucose levels. No blood test exists for depression. No X-ray can identify a child at the risk of developing bipolar disorder, at least not yet. Mental illnesses are no different from heart disease, diabetes, or any other chronic illness. The only difference is that mental illness, as I said, the only difference is that the organ of interest here is the brain instead of the heart or the pancreas. Now, there are many misconceptions about mental illness. A common misconception is that depression and other mental illnesses, such as anxiety disorders, do not affect children or adolescents. Any problems they have are just part of growing up. Now here, I would like to mention that when I was a teenager and when I was in high school, I fell victim to this disease. And the irony of life was that it went undetected for a very long time. And my elders thought that getting me married off would resolve all my problems. So I was married off at the age of 19, followed by pregnancy, childbirth, and a full-blown case of postpartum depression, all at the tender age of 20. But thankfully, at this juncture, my mother realized that I was in dire need of treatment, and I was rushed to a hospital. From then onwards began my road to recovery. So mine being a case in point, I would like to say that misconceptions about mental illness are pervasive, and the lack of understanding can have serious consequences and repercussions for millions of people who have a psychiatric illness. Now, certain other misconceptions about mental illness are that all mental illness is caused by sin. People who need psychiatric care should be locked away in mental institutions. Very sad, isn't it? A person who has had a mental illness can never be normal. If I am able to do this presentation today, and friends, if you do consider me normal, then I have definitely proven this misconception to be wrong. Some more misconceptions to follow. Mental ill persons are dangerous. People with mental illnesses can work only low-level jobs but aren't suited for really important or responsible positions. People with a severe mental illness, such as schizophrenia, are usually dangerous and violent. Mental illness is the result of bad parenting. Depression results from a personality weakness or character flaw, and people who are depressed are can just snap out of it if they tried hard enough. I tried hard enough, but I tell you, willpower cannot drive away depression. Many a times, medication is necessary, and your physician is the one person to decide if medication is necessary for you or not. So he directs you for counseling. If he directs you to a doctor, then you definitely have to go for it. Long-term therapy or counseling is also required. Most patients abandon therapy midway, which is not a healthy practice. Now, another part of mental illness is the stigma attached to it. Misconceptions about mental illness contribute to the stigma, which leads many people to be ashamed and prevents them from seeking help. So what is the stigma? Stigma is defined as a sign of disgrace or discredit, which sets a person apart from others. Stigma is a term used to describe a process where a person is denied full and equal social standing with another person. The process often begins with the application of a label which distinguishes normal or well people from sick or abnormal people. Now, stigma and mental illness. The stigma attached to mental illness is the main obstacle to better mental health care and better quality of life of people who have the illness. It is a basic component of the negative discrimination that people with mental illness experience every day. Now, there are many harmful effects of stigma. It is very devastating because trying to pretend nothing is wrong, refusal to seek treatment, you are rejected by family and friends. There is discrimination at work. There is difficulty in finding housing. You are subjected to physical violence. There is inadequate health insurance. Mental illness is considered untreatable and they become socially isolated. So what action can we take against this stigma? We can have articles in newspapers, magazines, we can conduct workshops, seminars, we can have communication with patients and relatives, we can create job opportunities, we can have mental health as a topic in school for students and teachers. This is very, very important. Then we can have had training seminars for employers so that employers will have more empathy for the people, for the employees. Now, WHO has estimated that 1 in 7 Indians suffer from poor mental health and labeled India the most depressing country in the world. WHO has also stated that at least 6.75% of the Indian population suffers from some form of the serious mental disorder. There is an extreme shortage of mental health workers like psychologists, psychiatrists, and doctors. The stark fact that in a country as large as India with a population of 137 crores, the number of psychiatrists is a paltry 5,000. The number of trained clinical psychologists is stated that to be even lower at 2,000. The fact that the perfectly normal-looking domestic help, watchman, cab driver, or the office colleague could be suffering from mental ailments is seldom given any serious thought. The fact that rapists, killers, and people with suicidal tendencies are often ordinary folks suffering from mental disorder is generally overlooked. The consequences of not addressing adolescent mental health conditions extend to adulthood. Mental health promotion and prevention are the keys to tackling mental disorder. So friends, let's not shy away from talking about mental illness. It is just another disease, and yes, it does need to be treated on a priority basis. Thank you. So now we shall have the question answer session, and you could, do I see any questions on the chat box?
I don't think we have any questions on the chat box, Gladys, but I think you can ask people to unmute and ask questions. Dr. CK, I think, wants to ask a question.
Yeah, thank you very much, Gladys,
Yeah.
for being a non-doctor and presenting such an excellent, eye-opening presentation, which is particularly important in the present day and age when film actresses, others have come out openly. It is almost like coming out, as they say, and saying that they suffer from depression. A comment and a question. First is, the confidentiality. The question is basically the confidentiality. Would you consider, I've had some first-hand experience with this, that a person who doesn't want to show up and go to a doctor, do you think some medication can be started confidentially first, and then when they get better, then be taken to a doctor? Because I've had a no from people, and then you ask a psychiatrist confidentially, arrange a telephonic consultation, and then
but then,
and then take to a doctor. What are your
yes,
views?
doctor, but then I feel, yeah, my view is that you always have a general physician, your family doctor, right? So I feel you could always open up to your family doctor, because you can always take your family doctor into confidentiality. Because I think taking medication on your own without confidentiality of your doctor is always not good, because you don't know how much medication to take. Self-medication, I don't think is a good thing. That is what I feel, doctor. But I think you being a doctor is, you are more...
Sorry, you misunderstood the question. I'm sorry to point it out. It is not taking medication yourself. It is a telephonic consultation first, because a family doctor also knows other members of the family, and the news spreads. You see, doctor is a family man as well.
Yeah, doctor, 1 minute. We have Toastmaster Benzita, a psychologist who has been working at Anirveda, Mangalore, a center for allied health services for the past 4 years. So she has some expert opinion on this. So I would like to bring her in at this point, and she would answer some of your questions on this. Over to Benzita for this question, please.
Yes, yeah. I think like DTM CK Balal told, that can happen in a lot of, like there could be conditions. Since he's already worked, we call it as surreptitious medications, where there could be cases where the client is not willing, no matter how much you educate, or like how sir said, there are conditions where it is just not possible. It could be part of their symptoms in itself, or it could be other struggles with stigma and things like that. But we maintain confidentiality, and more than confidentiality, it is a kind of where you know that this is the approach. We do speak to the caregivers, the family remains involved, the family knows what is happening, and once they agree and go ahead, and we do have consent from someone, when it is established that the patient or client cannot make the best decisions for themselves, when that has been established, we do take consent of the caregivers from the other parties involved, and we do the Gladys, what I think what CK sir was trying to tell is, there are cases where the client might not agree that, I want medication or go with the doctor, wherein the doctor would then speak to the family and tell that they might not know, but please see that they take it. A lot of things can be done, and once they take medication for some time and the symptoms settle down, you can always have a conversation with the patient and tell that, this happened and this is where we are now. Would you like to take it forward and take medication with the awareness that you are taking it? Because in a lot of conditions, like unless it settles down, it is very difficult to talk to them.
Okay, thank you, Benzita, for that. I hope, CK, your question is answered. Next, we have Kavita. Kavita, you can unmute yourself and go on with the question.
As we are discussing on mind matters, what I understand is that when we have any problem in case of throat infection, fever, we have a course of tablet where you take an antibiotic for 5 days or something like that, right? But when it comes to mind, we go to a psychiatrist and we have been given some medication, but it is very difficult to taper the medication. So how do we, especially when we are at home now, how do we taper the medicine? How does it work? Because each medicine has a course-like thing, but with the psychological or mental issues, I would say, in other words, how do you taper the medicine? I know we go on regular basis to the doctor personally and in a months of time, but in between, if your conditions are getting better, how do you taper the medicine? Because that's one thing I realized with my personal experience with my mother-in-law. It was very challenging to taper the medicine when needed, and we are not doctors in the house, and we can't keep asking the doctor, or troubling the doctor again and again. So I don't know who's going to answer this for me. Please, over to you. Thank you.
Benzita?
Yes. Okay. First thing I would like to say is I am not an expert on medication. That is not something I not even primarily, I don't deal with it. But there is definitely a few things that I can tell. First one is that medications, psychiatric or otherwise, are not addictive. When we say that they are not addictive, that is, a doctor is giving it to you, so they do know what is happening. If there are side effects, they always let us know, and they also ask us, to look out. Maybe it becomes more serious with psychiatric medication, but if you look at it, a doctor always tells you what is happening with the medication you're taking and what can you look out for. That is the first thing. So the idea that psychiatric medications especially are addictive or can have negative consequences is a myth. It is not true. However, you can't take it, like in your case, you are telling that you didn't know when to stop. There are also a lot of cases where they go for one visit and then they take the medication for years together. They never get back to the doctor. So follow-up is important. For 1 month, for how many ever years, follow up and keep communicating. I know you felt that I can't keep troubling the doctor, but I think he or she would much appreciate it if you checked in rather than if you didn't check, and get back to them. And another, keep the follow-up, and whenever you get back, let them know this happened and I felt like we should stop. Is it fine or is it not fine? The third thing you mentioned was about a course. Psychiatric medications are generally long-term. We are talking about a lot of different things. There needs to be a few things that need to obviously change in the body. These changes need to stabilize. So because something is becoming better, like, don't stop your antibiotic course when you are feeling better. Similarly, don't stop any medication, psychiatric or otherwise, because you're feeling better, because they still need to stabilize. And there are a lot of other changes that need to happen. It's not, you don't want to remove the medication and then jump into a worse phase. So there is a course, and the course becomes a little difficult to track maybe in a few cases, because like Gladys told in her webinar, we do not have specific diagnosis. Tests. We go based on how you are functioning. Is this dose helping you? Is it giving you side effects? Can I alter it? So are you functioning well for 1 month? Can you function for 2 months? That is another thing. And the last thing that I would definitely based on the question that has been asked, is that we do have a lot of questions that come up, is this okay? Is this not okay? If you are feeling not okay talking to the doctor, I am disturbing, put the question out anywhere. There are a lot of forums. The government in itself has come up with something called Kiran. That's a comprehensive mental health care. Put up your queries, someone will come to you. Better than we take decisions of our own, better to go and talk to someone who is expert in it. And I do understand the concerns, if things are getting better, do I continue? Is it difficult? Because you don't want to over medicate. You're coming from a very genuine place. Don't worry. The more you ask us and the professionals and ask, take decisions, we feel good that you are going in the right direction and you get educated and empowered. That helps.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Benzita. Due to paucity of time, you can forward your questions either to me or Benzita. Thank you so much. Over to the Toastmaster of the day, Della. Thank you, one and all. Thank you, Benzita, for answering our questions.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gladys and Toastmaster Benzita. I had asked you all to send in your questions, which I'm sure you all know that we cannot now reach out to everyone at the moment. So we will be sharing your answers in the newsletter with the PDF format. An ideal mind is a devil's workshop. And that is what Toastmaster Anita states when she says that she believes being mentally occupied and enjoying whatever we do. That helps us keep our sanity. I now hand over the evaluation to our general evaluator for today, Toastmaster Anita.
Thank you, Toastmaster Della. And wealth of information we have just received from all our speakers. I would like to invite the evaluators to give their part to the speakers. We have our first evaluator, Toastmaster Sulata Pai, who believes in reading, having a strong support system, pursuing her hobbies, and having a strong social circle around her to keep her sanity. I request Toastmaster Sulata Pai to please evaluate Toastmaster Princita. Just a minute. Evaluators are aware that you have 2 to 3 minutes, 2, 2.5, and 3. You can extend up to 3.30 seconds. After that, you are overshooting the time. So please keep to the time limit. Please unmute yourself, Toastmaster Sulata.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anita. Body language is a very powerful tool, and apparently 80% of what you understand in a conversation is read through the body and not through the words. This is according to Deborah Bull. Congratulations, Toastmaster Princita, on delivering a fabulous speech. You excelled at creating an instant connect with your audience by using your own personal experience as a topic of your speech. You successfully managed to engage the imagination of your audience throughout your speech. Your clarity was excellent. You had a wide range of vocal variety in your speech while narrating your own experience, like the popping sound when you fell down, and your voice modulation was great. Your gestures were good. You used your hands effectively, and I could also see the usage of your fingers while you were making points. You were aware of the audience and kept them hooked on throughout your speech. A few recommendations that I wish to make are, since your project is on effective body language, I think you could arrange your camera in such an effective manner so that your body language is more visible when you're standing up. And also, what I felt was that since your speech was about an unequal world, you could also have added a few general observations on why you feel that the world is unequal at large. All in all, it was a great speech with great usage of body language. Toastmaster Princita, I must say, you are a great communicator, and I would definitely not miss your subsequent speeches. Congratulations once again to you, Toastmaster Princita. Over to you, Toastmaster Anita.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sulata. That was a wonderful evaluation. And our next evaluator is someone who believes not to expect too much from others, but to start loving yourself in order to maintain your mental health. And that is Toastmaster Shraddha. Toastmaster Shraddha, I invite you to evaluate Toastmaster Shobha.
Thank you, DTM Anita. Good morning once again. Dear Toastmaster Shobha, you started your speech explaining about a mother. Initial few describing words, I thought you were telling about the mother nature. But then you told she carried a basket of fruits and flowers without showing her scars to her husband. Then I thought you were telling about your mother. But then again, it was about, in general, mothers of India. Well, mothers of India are not really very weak. Then you started narrating a story about a mother and a son. You told her how she lost her husband at very early age and how she was looking ugly and everyone were making fun of her Her son also hated her because of her outer beauty. And after his marriage, he kicked her out of the house. And later he came to know that the reality that she donated her eyes to her son. Well, congratulations. It was a great motivational story. You are a Toastmaster for more than 4 years. And when we frame a speech, we see that we time it according to our within limited time. And your inspirational, whatever motivational icebreaker speech was supposed to be for 4 to 6 minutes, and you exceeded it. And second part, the main purpose of your speech was to introduce yourself, tell something about yourself. There was not even a single sentence describing you. So instead of giving this motivational speech, you could have told something about your life, an incident which changed you or motivated you. So it would have been a better. This story was good, but it could have been for some other project. So overall story was good, but the main purpose itself was not served. So I hope in future you take care of those little things and will complete your motivational path with great success. All the best, Toastmaster Shobha. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shraddha. I'm sure the speaker will benefit a lot from that. Our third evaluator is someone who believes facing challenges is better than sitting idle, and that she has proved that in her life itself. And no matter how much risk lies ahead, she says, always face the challenges. Dr. Sapna will now evaluate Toastmaster Ashwin. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anita. Congratulations, Toastmaster Ashwin, for completing level 1 first speech and motivational strategies. What caught my attention in your speech was 3 emotions which a human being experiences by doing a noble work. Firstly, it was the great enthusiasm. You started the speech with share, share, share. Such a lovely introduction, because of which audience were glued throughout your speech. The second emotion was enjoyment. You were so happy to do that noble work. How you were reluctant initially to how you turned to do this great work. And the third emotion that I saw in you was the engagement. How you started the mission, share and care with your friends, and you were persistent and consistent throughout the mission was completed. After these 3 emotions, I would like to come to the organization of the speech. It had a beautiful opening. It had a good, strong body wherein you explained the story, mission, share and care, and the conclusion. The most beautiful part was the takeaway message. How you showed an empty book wherein it is totally plain, how it turns into a colorful page. I'm sure on this day of the mental health, where the mind matters, you have showed us with an experiment from the emptiness to the color, how things can be colorful by doing a noble work. And coming to the delivery of the speech, you presented the speech with the powerful hand gestures. You knew what you were expressing, what you were doing. And there was a very good voice modulation. There was a variation in your pitch where you are happy, sad. All emotions were expressed in one mode. And coming to the recommendation, if I have to recommend for this good to best or even more superlative words, maybe you can try a different way of crafting the speech by using similes, phrases. You can experiment with your English or the vocabularies to take the speech for a greater level. Definitely a significant speech on this day of the mental health. Congratulations and all the best for your future projects. Over to DTM Anita.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Toastmaster Dr. Sapna. We are honored to have a passionate and dedicated Toastmaster of Division F, someone who is a role model for many Toastmasters of the District 121, is none other than Toastmaster from Milagros, Toastmasters Club, Toastmaster Christopher Sequeira. I request Toastmaster Christopher Sequeira to please evaluate Toastmaster Gladys. Over to you, Toastmaster Christopher.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anita, for that lovely introduction. I don't know whether I'm an inspiration to others, but anyway, I quite like Toastmasters, and hence I'm here. Okay, coming to Gladys's evaluation, I mean, I was not asked to read out the purpose, so I will read out the purpose before I give my evaluation. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice facilitating an online meeting or leading a webinar. And the time was 20 to 25 minutes. Okay, Gladys, you did your webinar, and that was the purpose of your speech, of your project, of team collaboration at level 4. It was your way of going about the project. The webinar was very nice. I enjoyed the way you transited from one thing to another. You started off very well telling us about mental illness, and then moved on to other diseases, which where you told us that other diseases can be diagnosed, but not mental illness. And what was most important was how the stigma attached to a mental illness, how we don't like to go and seek treatment because people are ashamed. We pretend that nothing is wrong and we refuse to take treatment. I like the statistics that you gave us about 1 to 7 Indians are in that state, and one out of 7 Indians, and also that the World Organization has said India is the most depressing country. That tells us the state of mental illness, how it needs to be recognized more and given more importance in order to get people out of their mental illnesses. What I liked about your topic that you chose was it rhymed with the theme of today, Mind Matters. So it was most appropriate, and you did a good job of it. Your gestures were good. Your clarity was good and clear. And I like the way you concluded, saying that it was just another disease which needs to be treated. If I had to give you any suggestions, right at the start, you took a little time to get started, and there was a little bit of hesitation there, or lack of preparation to get into it straight away. Probably that smoothness was not there at the start. But after that, once you got going, it was smooth right throughout. As I said, I like the conclusion and your summation. Probably after the question and answer session, if you had given a summation, it would have been better at that time, so that we had something to take home. You're all in all a good session, a good webinar, and you have done a good job. I'm sure you will go on to do many more good projects. Thank you, and back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Christopher, Toastmaster Christopher, for that wonderful evaluation.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anita and President Sunita. When we learn different things, we feel motivated, our interests increase, and that in turn reflects on how we feel about ourselves when we achieve certain milestones. Toastmaster Kavita has a passion to learn and feels really positive at the end of the day. Over to you, Toastmaster Kavita, to conduct the trivia.
Good morning again. It's nice to see all of you back. And I'm sure you have been good listeners because I have already informed you initially that you need to listen to be a better speaker for today. So, and always, not only today, let me correct myself. And now let's start the trivia role wherein I would be asking you a few questions and you need to answer them. So before you go ahead, let me be very clear about this. When each one of you wants to answer, please unmute yourself and mention your name at the beginning and then give your answer so that I can keep a track of the answers which are correct and would send you the prizes soon. So let's start for the day. We have the first and the second prize and let me start with it. Share, share, and share. It was an amazing meeting today. And there was a speaker who mentioned share, share, and share right from the beginning till the end. And you know, all of you know that it was Toastmaster Ashwin. I know you must have already unmuted, but that is not the question. I've not yet completed. Please listen well. How many times did Toastmaster Ashwin use the word share?
4 times.
No. I said, please give your name and answer. I wouldn't take it to consideration if you don't mention your name. But that was wrong, Toastmaster Fiona, if it was you.
CK Ballal here.
Yes, sir.
And,
CK Ballal, sir.
He said the word share 15 times.
Okay, not right. But let me see.
Chandru,
Chandru,
yes.
yes. Yes.
10 times. 10 times.
Okay, so I close this question and I would give the answer to the closest. I mean, I would mark the right to the closest. It is 11 times. And I think Toastmaster Chandru, my mentee, gets it. Okay, I'm not being biased. Okay, so let's mark it for G. Kindly help me out, DTM Anita Cadero. Mark 1 point for Toastmaster Chandru. He's closer to that. Let's go for the next one. Phrases make the difference. We had one Toastmaster who used a wonderful phrase. She said, paralysis of analysis. Who was that?
Toastmaster Principal.
Chandru there, yes. Chandru there. You're right, Chandru. Chandru gets it. I get it corrected.
How come he gets it?
He gets it because he said, no, I think, can I take it from the GE, please? I think Toastmaster Chandru said Chandru and gave the answer, right?
Actually, my phone rang at the same time, so I was distracted.
So could I have Toastmaster Sunita to help me out? Toastmaster Sunita, a good listener.
Let me clarify. Though I said it, but Dr. CK Ballal said it. I knew it, but this answer was, yeah.
Okay. So I appreciate that, Toastmaster Chandru. We have Dr. DTM CK Ballal who gets this point.
Thanks for being gracious.
I am always. Anyway,
Kavita, 1 second. May I request everyone to switch on their videos? It is very nice to see everyone enjoying that.
No, I want you to be interactive and it will make it personal if you keep your videos on. Thank you, Toastmaster Sunita, President, to help me out with that. Anyway, let's move on to the next question. And it goes this way. It reduces heart disease. Who said this? Which Toastmaster said this? It reduces...
Fiona.
Fiona said...
Toastmaster Gladys.
No.
Yeah, Toastmaster Anita.
No.
No, I want to answer.
Okay. Toastmaster Anita wants to answer. I'm sorry.
You can't say your own name.
Seema.
You're right, Toastmaster Anita. Toastmaster.
No, I said Seema.
But you have to mention your name, Winston. I made it very clear.
Okay.
You have to say Toastmaster Winston wants to answer and then answer. Whatever.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, the G is a very good observer and a listener. We have it for you. 1 point for you. Kindly mark for your own self. Thank you. We move ahead. The next question is, What is the severe mental illness called? What is the other word for severe mental illness?
Lalita, stigma.
Not stigma, not stigma. What's the word?
Schizophrenia.
Yes, you get it right. I myself cannot pronounce it, but I would like to pronounce it schizophrenic, right?
No, schizophrenia.
Schizophrenia.
Schizo. Not
Schizophrenia.
schizo. Not
Okay.
schizo.
It's not schizo. I will take the training from you some other time because I don't have time now. Thank you on that, DTM CK Balal. He gets another point on that. Next question is a timer. Could you please let me know how much time I'm left? I have only 5 to 7 minutes. Sorry, timer, I didn't inform you initially.
Okay.
Please let me know the time. I've not pinged you. Sorry for that. How much time to go?
2.5, ma'am.
I've got 2.5 more minutes to go.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Girls with 2 bandage. Who was that speaker who mentioned that?
Balal here.
I think Toastmasters, DTM CK Balal gets it again. He's very good at bandaging people, so he gets that right. So he said 2 of them was Princita. So well done, Dr. CK. Go ahead, you have more to go. I'm sure he's a good listener because that proves, because he's a very good speaker.
Now that it's proved, I think we have to eliminate him.
No. We can't do that. We can't do that. And you all agree with me. He's a very good speaker. So that is proven today. As he's a good listener, he's a good speaker as well. Okay. So let's go ahead with another question. Life becomes colorful. Who was that speaker? You can't miss on it.
Chandru. This is Father Ashwin.
Yes, good. I think even Toastmaster Jyoti mentioned it right, but Toastmaster Jyoti, you have to mention your name before you go ahead with the answer. I did tell you. Anyway, good luck on the next answer, Toastmaster Jyoti, if you could go ahead. We had one speaker, I would say, who mentioned 3 emotions, and what are they?
Fiona.
Yes.
Sapna. I'm supposed to mention the emotions.
Yes. Okay, you give a part of the answer at least. Dr. Sapna.
It was Dr. Sapna. That was I don't remember what it was.
Okay, anybody else who remembers?
Yes, Chandru here.
Yes.
Balal here. Happiness.
I think no. It was Dr. Sapna. CK, just kindly wait, Dr. CK. I think Chandru wanted to answer first. Yes, Chandru, go ahead.
Yeah, it was emoji it was expression.
Yes.
One of the emoji expression and experience.
No. I think Dr. CK is raising his hand. So can I go ahead with Dr. CK?
Inspiration.
No.
Lalita, sharing and caring.
No. Praveen, I can see you raise. Sorry?
Enthusiasm.
Yes. Dr. Sapna, are you there? If you're there.
Yes.
Yeah, you did say.
Enthusiasm.
Yes. Enthusiasm,
enjoyment, and engagement.
Good done. Well done. I'm sure a couple of them got the answer, but I would give this answer to Toastmaster Fiona because she answered a bit of it. Okay. So let's go ahead with, I've got another few minutes, Praveen.
No.
Yeah, only 30 seconds.
Okay, 30 seconds more. I have a few questions to go. Who used the phrase, who is actually an encyclopedia always in Mangalore Toastmasters? I've already given you the clue. Wealth of information.
Fiona.
Fiona. DTM Anita. Fiona, you get it right. I'm sure you want to bag that prize along with Dr. CK. Go ahead. One last question to all of you, and that is, by heart, I'm a Mangalorean. Who said this?
Yeah, this is
Fiona. Who was that? Navamikini. You get it right, Fiona, and you win today's, I think, contest of Trivia Master. But let me check it from the G.
There is a tie. There is a tie.
G. Let me check it from the G.
Toastmaster DTM CK Balal is on score 3, along with Fiona also score 3, and second place is Toastmaster Chandru with 2 points, and myself with 1 point.
Yeah. Can we have a round of applause for all of them But the prizes are on the way for Toastmaster DTM DK CK Balal and Toastmaster Fiona, and also Toastmaster Chandru, whom I had mentioned the second place. So well done, guys. I'm glad you took part, and you have to be good listeners. In life, being a good listener, you'll have a good way to be a good speaker, but not only a speaker in Toastmasters. If you need to be a good evaluator, you need to be a good listener. So each role has to be taken care very well. And over to you, Toastmaster Della. I'm sorry, the GE Anita Cordero, and thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Because Sunita said we should be spontaneous, I'll just butt in. You should also keep the winning spirit. The winning spirit.
Yes, Dr. CK, I second you on that.
Anita, I think you can go ahead and do the general evaluator's report, and then we can hand over to Della.
Okay, thank you. So all of you will definitely agree this was a meeting apart from the rest. I do not know whether it was a Navaratri spirit or it was a October rain and sun that has been infecting us, but definitely a moment, a meeting to cherish and remember for a long time to come. It was a different sort of a meeting because we started with sweetening our mouth with a small raisin activity to create so much of information about awareness and mindfulness. The prayer, although the prayer was led by Toastmaster Fiona, and she started with a white light telling us there is a glitch in that, and then said, no, there were no glitches. She was testing our hearing. And then we had 3 wonderful speeches that were well prepared and well rehearsed. We had a webinar, which was a mine of information on mental health. We had, you won't believe the number of how many guests we had today, at least 6 guests. I'm sorry, we did not get time to acknowledge their presence. We had Olivia Srivastav, Toastmaster Navamikini, Karthik. We had DTM Mutturaj Badigar, Ranjan Kotian, and Bhavishya. It was a meeting that was really very valuable. We had a Toastmaster of the Day who was well done, who has done a tremendous job in preparing for this meeting. And I like the way she brought out the introductions that were connected to the theme. That was also a it requires time, and I really commend the way it has been done. And another meeting with not only a webinar, but also a trivia session that was the most fun moment for all of us, testing our listening skills. And so there were a few things that we could have taken care of to make it more professional. One is the technical glitches. I know technical glitches are unpredictable, but then we should try our best to be as well organized and as well prepared as is possible, so that we can, we really put up a professional meeting. Speakers, I want to bring the attention to the speakers that they need to rehearse themselves and time themselves. Please do not take it for granted that you can speak within 5 to 7 minutes. Sometimes it does not happen. And speakers and all role takers need to pin the timer, because this is very important. Otherwise, the entire meeting goes out of hand. So please be careful about that. Another unique thing that I noticed in this meeting was, I think after a very long time, we have used handmade timer cards, and that is something to be appreciated. I really like that. And as a closing of the meeting, closing of my general evaluator's report, I hope you have a spare raisin with you. Just pop it in your mouth, not to be mindful of the taste and other thing, but to show that it was a meeting that was well worth attending. Over to you, President.
Yeah, I think I would request the Tia Modi if she has any concluding remarks. Briefly, but because we're running out of time. Della?
Thank you, President Sunita. I had planned to leave a little early today, but I stayed back because of the trivia session and the mental illness webinar. quite an enriching information and an overload of do's and don'ts regarding our mental health. And with the general evaluators report concluding the meeting of what was well, what had gone well, and what could have been done better. So let's hope that we start working on how to keep ourselves professional and for our next meeting and take up our roles as soon as possible and not for the last minute. So thank you everyone for making this meeting a success. And I enjoyed being the Toastmaster of the day today. Let us observe mental health today and tomorrow and keep ourselves mentally fit. Thank you.
Thank you, Della, for a wonderful meeting. And I know how much of work you have put in behind the scenes. I know we always work as a team, but the person in charge is important. You've been very proactive in the Adda also getting people involved, and everything today came together wonderfully. So thank you for a very wonderful meeting. Before I declare the results, I would like to thank Toastmaster Christopher from Milagros Club. I'm sorry, Toastmaster Christopher, I didn't get an opportunity to formally welcome you, but thank you for joining us today. We were very happy that you could join us to evaluate Gladys.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah. So without further ado, quickly, I'll just announce the results because I know everyone is getting ready for work. Just a second, please. Oh gosh. Okay, I think I've already sort of right. So the best speaker goes to Toastmaster Princita Farao, and the best evaluator award is a tie between Toastmaster Sulata Pai and Toastmaster Sapna Ramraj. I thought both deserved a certificate because a tie is a tie. And for the best role taker, I think both Toastmaster Della and Toastmaster Kavita Kamath deserve a huge round of applause for creating such a wonderful atmosphere today. It was a very enjoyable meeting. If whatever announcements have to be made, I will make once the recording stops. So thank you all for joining in and making such a wonderful experience.